RWBY is the hit web series, created by Rooster Teeth and Monty Owen. What started off as a simple web series quickly turned into an internet hit phenomenon. The show has gotten so big that its first season, or volume as they are called, was recently released theatrically. With a fourth volume on the way, plans to theatrically show the other two volumes, and a chibi-style spin-off series, there is so much to come from this franchise. Let's go ahead and take a look at where it all started, with the first volume that was released way back in 2013. What was it about the first volume that made RWBY so unique? How did a simple web series become so popular and become a hit franchise? Most importantly, how did the way this all started influence what it is today? Let's go ahead and find out. There will be spoilers for the first volume of RWBY, so if you have not seen that, I'd recommend watching that first, just so you're not spoiled. With that out of the way, let's begin. The world of RWBY is a vast and interesting one. In the world of Remnant, there are creatures known as Grimm. Before the series started, there was a war between mankind and the Grimm. It was thanks to the discovery of a mysterious element known as dust that they were able to fight back. In the present day, dust is used to power several things, most notably weapons. People who use dust to fight Grimm are officially known as huntsmen and huntresses. Before anyone can become a huntsman or a huntress though, they must attend an academy to train. The series focuses on 4 students at Beacon Academy in the city of Vale. These students are Ruby Rose, Weiss Schnee, Blake Belladonna, and Yang Xiaolong. Together they form Team RWBY. Along with Team RWBY, we also have Team Juniper, comprised of Jean Arc, Nora Valkyrie, Pyrrha Nikos, and Ren. RWBY is the leader of Team RWBY. She is the youngest of the team at age 15, and is usually seen dressed in her red cloak. RWBY's weapon is Crescent Rose, a scythe that can turn into a rifle. As the youngest, RWBY can be a bit childish and very naive at times. She was also unsure about if she would be able to be a good leader or not. RWBY is always trying to get along with people and make friends, even if it doesn't work out for her. Her determination to become a huntress and her devotion to her team help make her a great leader, and she's a great main character to follow around. Weiss is the second member of Team RWBY. Weiss is the heiress to the Schnee Dust Company, which is one of the largest dust companies there is. At first, Weiss seems very self-centered, and she dislikes most of the members of her team, especially RWBY. She and RWBY have a terrible first encounter, and things aren't any better with Blake. She's also resentful that RWBY was made leader, even though she is much better than her. Over time though, Weiss does learn to get along with her team, and she does accept RWBY as a great leader. Blake is the third member of Team RWBY. Blake is very quiet, and often keeps to herself a lot, especially at first, where she would always be seen reading a book to herself. Blake slowly does open up to the other members of Team RWBY though, and to the rest of the students. In the finale of Volume 1, it's actually revealed that Blake is a faunus, a humanoid race with animal features. She used her black bow to hide her cat ears. Blake was also a part of the White Fang, a social rights group. Blake hid the fact that she was a faunus because of the extra attention it would give her, and because of the fact that faunuses are very discriminated against. Finally, we have Yang, the fourth member of Team RWBY, and RWBY's older sister. Yang also acts as an older sister to the entire group. She's very optimistic, and she's a fan of puns. Yang keeps her cool in many situations, though she can get mad rather easily. Yang really helps the team get along, and she's a great help to the team. It's really because of her that they all ended up getting together and ended up bonding along. For Team Juniper, their leader is Jean Arc. Jean is shown to be very clumsy. He tries to be cool with the girls, but he always ends up making a fool out of himself. It's also revealed that the reason he's less skilled than the others is because he used fake transcripts to get into Beacon. Jean does manage to become a good leader though, and he works very well with the others. His team members support him completely, and they all make a really great team together. Nora is the second member of Team Juniper. Nora is very talkative, very energetic, very hyperactive, and very adorable. At times, she can annoy her teammates, but she does work well with them, and they all have great dynamic together. Nora is very supportive of her teammate, and she also seems to be fond of breaking legs for whenever there's a problem that needs to be fixed. Nora is a wonderful, adorable character, and she works very well with the other team members, and she's a great addition to the team. Pyrrha is the third member of Team Juniper. She has a great reputation around the school, seeing as how she has the highest honors and an amazing record. Despite this, what she wants most is to be treated like anyone else. Pyrrha helps Jean out in training so that he can become a better leader for Team Juniper. One trait that Pyrrha tends to have is that she's overly kind, and she often apologizes for things, even if she doesn't have much of a fault in it. Finally, we have Ren. He's very different from the other members of Team RWBY and Team Juniper, because he's quite mellow, and he's quite more mature than the others. His long-term friendship with Nora creates a very interesting dynamic between the two of them, and a great dynamic for the entire team, because of how different they are. He works very well with Team Juniper though, and he balances them out very nicely. A few other characters worth very briefly mentioning are Glinda Goodwitch, a huntress that teaches at Beacon, and Ozpin, the mysterious headmaster of Beacon. Our main antagonist for this volume is the infamous leader of a dust-stealing gang, Roman Torchwick. Torchwick has amazing style and amazing flair. He's very charismatic and extremely charming. While he isn't actively shown doing anything until the last few episodes, it's always nice whenever he's shown in action. His interactions with Team RWBY is also very nice because of how calm and joking he usually is. Torchwick makes a great antagonist, and the fact that he waits until the right moment to strike adds so much to his charm and gives him a sense of mystery. So now we have all the characters out of the way, and they were quite a bit of characters. What is it about RWBY that helped make it into the phenomenon that it is today? Part of what makes RWBY so entertaining is the fact that it's so unique. It takes a lot of commonly used tropes, but uses them in a new and different way. The world itself is very unique and interesting. There are many things in the world that would give an interesting appeal, such as dust, aura, which is a sense of force field energy that runs through living things, and semblance, unique abilities that individuals have. The show is also filled with many unique references. For example, all of the characters are named after colors, and they all have some sort of allusion, whether it be to mythology or a fairy tale. Trying to figure out each character's reference, the way that will play into their actions, and what it will have to do with their story is very nice and entertaining. All of the characters, as said, work very well together, and there honestly weren't any characters I disliked. For being a simple web show, the fight scenes are very well made. Combining the unique weapons that have multiple uses and purposes, along with aura and semblance, each fight is very different depending on the character, the environment, the situation, and so much more. One last thing the show does really good is have subtle build-up for what's to come next. The reveals that Blake was a faunist, and that John used fake transcripts to enter the academy were both subtly foreshadowed during different episodes. There's also a post-credit scene at the end of the volume that gives a hint as to what's next to come, and shows that Torchwick wasn't the mastermind behind the events in the volume. The soundtrack to RWBY is amazing, with so many well-made and memorable songs. From the opening all the way to the credits, the music is enjoyable the entire way through. All of this, along with so much more, keeps the viewer wanting more, and keeps them entertained for the entire series to come. There are a few things that RWBY just doesn't do right though. Since it's a web show and a lot of the budget goes to make sure the fights look as great as they do, some of the animation when they're simply walking around and especially eating food looks really bad. The background characters are all shadows and outlines, and this wasn't really an issue for me, and I found it to be quite humorous at times, but it can affect how much someone else enjoys it. The length of each episode varies from episode to episode, and most of them are far too short. Because of the fact that the episodes are so short, it seems as though there might be too many characters, when in reality there aren't. Despite the show focusing on Team RWBY, John and Team Juniper get an arc all to themselves. It's nice to see them grow, but because of this, Yang doesn't really seem to change at all in the entire volume. And while RWBY does go through some changes in order to become a more confident leader, this is mostly done through Weitz's character development, and not her own. Finally, the antagonist, Roman Torchwick, can feel underutilized at times. He never does anything until the last few episodes, not even a few scenes to imply or foreshadow he's about to strike. He's a mysterious character, but with the amount of charm, charisma, flair, and everything else the character has, it's hard to think he would stay quiet for so long, especially when he was a wanted criminal before the series began. It just would have been nice to have more scenes with him because of how great a villain he truly is. Overall, Volume 1 of RWBY is great! It never could have gone as big as it did without a great start, and this definitely is a great way to start off. All of the characters are enjoyable, and they all work very well together, even if some of them don't develop as much as others. The world is set up with a nice balance of mystery and background so that the viewer is interested in finding out more, but they're not confused as to what is going on. Torchwick is an amazing antagonist, and even though he wasn't used to his full potential, he was great to see whenever he was on screen. If you've seen the first volume of RWBY, let me know what you thought of it. I will be reviewing volumes 2 and 3 of RWBY, as well as volume 4 when that comes out and finishes, so I hope you stick around for that. Those reviews will be much more in-depth. I know this one was kind of basic, but it's the first volume and there's not really that much to talk about. Until then, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time!